Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in to Worship Gear Collective. My name is Patrick. Thank you for joining us again. Today we have a very special video in store for you. Today we are going to be checking out the DIESO Plus by Pinstripe Pedals. Alright, so before we get started and get moving on anything like that, I want to give a huge shout out to Charlie Fox of Pinstripe Pedals for sending this unit out to us. This is not a paid video or anything like that. We reached out to Charlie and Charlie was just, awesome and willing to oblige us and kind of, help us out with making this video. So thank you, Charlie. I appreciate all the help and just, thank you for sending this out to us. The DIESO Plus is something called a line isolator. So what does a line isolator do for you? Why do you need one in your setup? Well, the first thing I would say is if you're running a modeler, you need some sort of a line isolator, okay? So line isolators are really important because basically what they do, modelers tend to run a little bit quieter. So what line isolators do is they kind of take your line level and they maintain that level throughout the entirety of your signal chain. That way the level that your front of house console is getting is like perfectly clean and pristine, and it's not dropped off or anything like that, which is a big difference with a DI box. A DI box tends to take your signal and reduce it down quite a bit, and you actually lose quite a bit of signal clarity and everything like that you through a DI box. So that's why a line isolator is important, especially when you're using a modeler. Like me personally, I use an ACS1. John uses the HX Stomp. I know a lot of you guys are using, Ruby and Dream setups or quad cortexes or anything like that, right? So I would say pretty much any sort of board mounted like modeler you want to use a DIESO Plus or some sort of line isolator for. So really right now there are two kind of things in the game for this. We have the DIESO Plus by, like I said, by Pinstripe Pedals, and we also have this right here. This is the Walrus Audio Canvas Stereo. They also make a mono version. It's, but if you're running a stereo board, you're going to want the stereo, obviously. The DIESO Plus is stereo. So, why would you choose one over the other, right? There's a couple things that you can kind of factor into that. So, like, why would you want one? Why wouldn't you want the other, right? So, the canvas, first off, I'll tell you right now, is cheaper, okay? It is something that, like, if you're really tight on a budget, a canvas might be your best option, right? And doesn't mean the canvas is bad. This is also not a comparison video by any means. I don't want you guys to think we're going to do a shootout between the canvas and the DIESO or anything like that. That's not what we're here for. You can kind of find all these facts online, so I'll let you do that. I'll just kind of give you the nitty gritty, the quick, brief thing of it, okay? So, like I said, the canvas stereo is a little bit cheaper. You have DI box and line isolation modes. You got a pad and a ground lift on it. You also have a 1/4-inch sum. That's important to pay attention to. 1/4-inch sum on the canvas stereo, okay? So, why do you want the DIESO then instead? Well, the DIESO, first off, again, you can find all the stuff online, right? The DIESO is going to run Jensen transformers in it, right? Which are super high quality transformers. That's a big one right there. The second one is kind of customizability, right? One of the awesome things that Pinstripe Pedals does is they pretty much, if you could think of it, they have a line isolator for you, right? So do you need phase flipping because you're running a Ruby and a Dream setup? They got you. Do you need, just XLR summing? They got it right there too. All that stuff, right? So they have a lot of different options for you to really make it your own and to make it something that is going to work best for your setup, all right? So the canvas doesn't have that. It is an off-the-shelf product, which again, there's nothing wrong with the canvas. It's great. It's, like I said, I own one. So it's an off-the-shelf product. It's just kind of what it is what it is, and that's what you get, right? So really one of the big things that I'd pay attention to when you're making your decision is what you are trying to accomplish and what it is that you do most of the time. So are you a person who gigs at a lot of churches or just gigs in general, right? And you need something like that is kind of gonna match whatever setup you're playing in. So are you playing at a big church one week where you can use a big stereo, board and everything like that, and you're just running stereo everything to front of house and it's great? Or are you, the next week you're jumping into a really small church, a place where they don't really have a stereo setup. All they have is a mono setup. So if you're doing that, 100% the DIESO Plus is the best way to go for you. With that XLR summing switch, it's awesome. It really does the job, and it maintains like the best, like the closest thing to a stereo signal that you can get. Okay, most of the time if you're running a stereo board and you need to go down to mono, that means you're going through pulling out all of your patch cables in the line to basically get rid of any of the stereo side of it and just have it sum to mono out. So yeah, the DIESO Plus is really going to be a game changer for you in that scenario because, like I said, it's got a stereo XLR sum on it. So if you don't want to go through and unplug all these extra cables out of your board or anything, you just want to, put this line isolator on there, flip one switch, and you're good to go for wherever you're playing at. DIESO Plus, man, it's hard to really beat that, right? So they also have like a 1/4 inch sum feature on it, which is really cool. And again, I would always just encourage you to check out all the stuff, on Pinstripe Pedals' website. I'll go ahead and link that here in the description. I'll go ahead and put it right up here at the top of the screen so you can go check it out. Pinstripe Pedals really does a lot, I think, to cater to the musician who is not playing in the same place every single week, who does not, who has a very complicated setup, but they don't want to really go through and ruin anything. Because let's be real, I've moved my board around a ton, and I work at a church currently, so I know what it's like to unplug and plug things in all the time, and that's wear and tear on your stuff. That's wear and tear on your gear. And I'll tell you right now that the DIESO Plus is an awesome thing for you if you're playing at a church one Sunday where you're stereo, and then the next week you're playing at a church where you're just mono and stuff. To go through and constantly unplug all those cables from your stereo pedals, that does put wear and tear on the pedal and wear and tear on the cable, really. And God knows that all of us have replaced far too many patch cables in our lifetime. So I like to leave my stuff set up as much as possible, and then I just have a line isolator box that I can go ahead and just flip a knob on, and I'm going from stereo to mono, no problem, really fast. Then you have that line isolation aspect, which is going to maintain that signal's integrity amazingly, right? And then the Jensen transformers really do well to help keep that up to a really high quality level. All right. So kind of back to one of the other reasons. Why do you want a DIESO Plus versus a Canvas stereo or anything? Again, we're not doing comparisons here. I am not here to, shoot these things out or anything like that. That's not what we're going to do today. But why do you want this? Well, I can tell you right away, one of the biggest reasons that we wanted to kind of work with Pinstripe Pedals and Charlie Fox and everything like that on doing this video is that Charlie Fox, if you ever pay attention to any of the Facebook forums or anything like that, anything worship, he is a worship guy. He actually helps out the church a ton, and that is somebody that we like to promote on this channel. And on top of that, it's just a super high quality product. I can tell you right now, the transformers are actually a lot better than what you're going to get in the Canvas, which again, Canvas is still really good. And on top of that, like I said, you just have more options and then more ordering options too. So when you actually go online to order this, and again, I'll link all this here, but when you go online to order your DIESO, you're going to get like a couple different options that you can request from this to make sure like that the DIESO is fitting your needs specifically, right? So if you just need a plain old stereo line isolator, they got you. They also have a mono version as well. But if you just need that, they got you there. Like I said, it's like, hey, I'm going to go back and forth between stereo and mono. They got you there too. They have that summing feature. Hey, I need phase inversion. They got you there too. And one of the other big things that I've noticed with the DIESO that I've really loved is I love using it as a studio tool. So basically, like I said, just kind of make it nice and simple. I could just totally bypass everything and run my board right into my audio interface through the XLR 1/4 inch combo jacks and everything, and it would work just fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I like to do is I like to send my signal out to the DIESO right through 1/4 inch, have it convert to XLR, send that right into my interface, and to me, it's like I said, that whole line isolator thing keeps my levels up right to where I want them, and it kind of makes me have like a much more pristine signal going right direct into my DAW, so being Logic. So I use it as a studio tool as well, and it has been great. I've been using it quite a bit for like the last month or so, just to kind of make sure I had all the information I needed to make this video. So it's been an awesome studio tool. I've loved it. And then one of the other big reasons that you want to have a line isolator is protection from phantom power. Sometimes, it has happened before where phantom power gets sent directly to your pedal board and it can just fry things. So having that line isolator in the way does the same thing as a DI box in that regard, as it can actually protect, your pedals and everything like that on your board from phantom power being sent the opposite way. But really, like I said, the line isolator in general, it does a very similar job to a DI box in the sense that it is converting your unbalanced signal to a balanced signal, right? But you get the added benefit of it maintaining your line level for your modeler to give you as much clarity and definition and volume essentially as possible, so that way when it hits your front of house console, it is the absolute probably best signal that you can send them coming from your modeler. So I hope that answered all your guys' questions. I hope you guys can go feeling confident in your next purchase and like that. So like I said, I highly recommend Pinstripe Pedals. I'll go check them out. And again, when you buy a DIESO Plus, you have the comfort of knowing that this company really cares about the praise and worship community, and their customer support is unbelievable. They just super care about everything that we do. And anyway, here at the channel, we highly recommend the DIESO Plus. I've loved this thing. I've used it quite a bit, and I can tell you that it's going to be hard to send this one back. I might need to purchase it myself. But anyway, thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys for checking out the channel. And again, we'll leave all the links in the description below for Pinstripe Pedals and the DIESO Plus. Reach out to Charlie Fox in the forums if you guys have any questions. He's awesome. He does excellent with customer support. And, he's like the maker of all these things. So his knowledge is just top notch. So again, thank you guys for checking out our channel. Thanks for stopping by. You have a good one. Bye.